We have over 1,000 permitted water discharge sites across all of our permits. We test the water over 4,000 parameters, which totals about 25,000 water samples a year. The lack of compliance in any area will result in fine. Repeated violations, the fines escalate, and a pattern of violations can end in a real bad way for the coal companies, up to including permit revocation, as well as putting you on the bad list in terms of getting new permits. So it's something that's taken very, very seriously. As I mentioned earlier, surface mine permits today are very different than they used to be. What you see on the left is a surface mine permit from 1993. 1983, excuse me. It's about 3 inches thick. Took about 6 months to get it at a cost of about $10,000. On the right is a surface mine permit. It's one of ours that took in excess of 3 years to get it at a cost of about $750,000. Now, our friend there, Joe Pugh, he's not the tallest guy in the world, but it gives you some sense of what we have to go through to get a mining permit across various states and federal authorities these days. Is the truth somewhere in the middle? My guess is it probably is, but at the end of the day, what the mining companies need is certainty of process. If it's 5 years, that's fine. We just need to understand what the hurdles are, so the targets don't move on us in an arbitrary fashion. Something else that many folks don't understand very well is the insurance policy that sits across these surface mine permits across not only Central Appalachia, but the nations. Any company that engages in the practice of surface mining has to calculate the reclamation liability or the restoration liability in dollars. And that number has to be verified by an independent third party. In our case, it's our auditor. And that's a balance sheet liability. It's placed on the balance sheet of the coal company. So that's interesting. But what's more interesting about it is the fact that we have to then go to a surety company, like the Travelers, the big red umbrella folks, and we have to buy a surety bond that covers this liability in the event that a coal company would default on its obligations. So it provides, it's a very high price, but also a very worthy insurance protection policy to be sure that these sites are reclaimed in the long term. You can see here, this is an example of the 5 largest coal companies in Central Appalachia, their reclamation liabilities and the amount of their reclamation bond coverage, which is something on the order of about $800 million. We talked earlier about the restoration of mine lands to a higher and better use, and I'd like to this point, give you some tangible examples of some of those. From a recreational standpoint, you'll see some familiar sites here, principally this one. These kinds of facilities would be very difficult to build in the rugged terrain of Central Appalachia, but these kinds of facilities are made possible through responsible restoration activities on the part of the coal companies. Golf course over in West Virginia, a recreational complex in Kentucky, and of course the Copper Gap Park over around Hayside. Another good example is infrastructure. I've got a couple examples of public-private partnerships. In this one in particular, in concert with the Buchanan County authorities, Alpha worked to create 450 acres of developable land and about 1.5 miles of new road bed. We moved about 85 million tons of rock and recovered about 2.8 million tons of coal. This has created a great site for future economic activity. We've got a similar thing going on in West Virginia. It's called the King Coal Highway. It's a 4-lane high-speed expressway that's going to cut across West Virginia kind of from a west to east direction. These kind of projects are cost prohibitive in the rugged terrain of Central Appalachia using conventional road liability methodologies. What allows it to work is the recovery of coal that wouldn't ordinarily be recovered, and also this private partnership with in the case of West Virginia, it's with the Federal Highway Department as well as the West Virginia Department of Transportation, where we're going to build 6 miles of this high-speed road. We're going to create another commercial development site very similar to that, as well as a regional high school. So neither one of these projects is viable on a standalone basis, as really the cost would be prohibitive to the taxpayer. But the public-private partnership is what allows it to occur. You can imagine how difficult it would be to find enough flat land to build an airport in central Appalachia. There are a fair number of these out there. These are just 2 of the examples. Probably one to Big Sandy. The one here in Wise is the same, as well as the airport in Charleston, West Virginia. Those are all on reclaimed surface mine sites. Example of a housing project in eastern Kentucky on restored land, as well as a hospital in eastern Kentucky on restored mountaintop and winter land. To the point of higher and better use, the notion of higher value becomes a question. Post-mining versus the value of what it was on a pre-mining basis. There are numerous examples of land values increasing substantially on a post-mining basis, as this chart illustrates. It's largely attributable to the fact that land can now be commercially developed versus in its previous state. Just to put in another little plug for Alpha again, we built the first natural stream channel on a restored surface mine in Virginia, here not too far away, when many said that this could never be done. When you go out on this site, it's really impossible to tell the difference between this stream channel and a naturally occurring stream channel. And what makes it more fascinating is what they call the benthics, the bugs and stuff in the stream. They're there just like they are in a naturally occurring stream. As you can see, the site has won many awards for the restoration excellence, and it's something that the folks at Alpha, and specifically here in Wise County, Paramount, are very proud of. And it's become a model really for all of us to follow in the future, I think. This is an example of what's referred to as an ephemeral stream. It's a technical term for a stream that flows when it rains real hard and has water in it. The one on the left is a naturally occurring stream channel. The one on the right is something that is part of restored land and runs adjacent to a valley field. And then certainly last but not least, something else we do is reestablish wildlife habitats for our furry and feathered friends across the area. As you can see there on the pond at the right, we've installed little islands for bird habitat. When you really get to the crux of the issue, according to the survey we did, it's an issue really of jobs. As you can see from the blue bar, the bars across the bottom here, those are the mining jobs, and they far outpace compensation in other areas for the industries in those areas. In some cases, double the wages of the others. You know what? The men and women of this business take their responsibilities very seriously, and they perform their jobs to the highest standard of care. In most cases, even beyond what is required by law. As we continue to strive towards energy independence, these hard-working and honest and decent individuals are an integral part of the long-term solution, and they're just waiting for us to call on them, because they'll deliver just like they always have. And lastly, behind jobs, local revenues from coal are a big-ticket item and vitally important for the local communities where we all operate. As you can see by this illustration,